On January 4, 2010, Dubai surprised the world with an incredible structure, the Burj Khalifa. At that time it was thought that this height would be surpassed again shortly. But until now, 12 years, there was not a single building that even remotely reached this height. What happened? And why did China even ban such buildings? Before it starts, there is a short advertisement. I now have a Discord server where you can chat and also receive messages directly from me. The videos will also be notified. In the video description you will find the link if you want to join. And now I'll leave it with further advertising.
Finally!
The race for the tallest building is a popular trend today. But in earlier times this was not present at all. The pyramids of Giza were the tallest structure in the world for 3,800 years. Europe then followed with the lead of the tallest buildings with cathedrals. Pyramids were surpassed by Lincoln Cathedral in 1311, which was then defeated by Strasbourg Cathedral in 1439. This record lasts for another 400 years. He in the 20th century started the birth of skyscrapers, which intensified the race. By the time the Pertina's towers were completed, the number of heights had increased around tenfold. From 1908 to 1998 the skyscrapers were all in either Chicago or New York. In the 21st century, the race also spread to the Middle West and Asia. Heights were reached that we could never imagine in our heads. The Burj Khalifa held the record for the only megatall skyscraper for just 2 years. Buildings that are 600m or more high count as megatall skyscrapers. The 601m high Makkah Royal Clock Tower was completed in 2012. 3 years later the Shanghai Tower was built, and only recently the Merdeka PNB 118 joined the group. Despite all this generalization, why are tall buildings built this way? Skyscrapers are mainly built for practical reasons. Skyscrapers prevent the so-called sprawl. Masses of cities are constantly being innovatively expanded into modern fields. Skyscrapers should prevent that from spreading into the landscape, but upwards instead. The demand for space in the country is also to be reduced in some places. These skyscrapers are also seen as landmarks for their city or country. Let's take a closer look at the current record holders. The frightening statistic from the Burj Khalifa is that nearly a third of the entire building is unusable. The tower has more than 200 floors, 160 of which are certainly habitable. When the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur defeated the Sears Tower in Chicago, the roof of the Petronas Tower was actually 60m lower. Compared to the second tallest building, known as the Shanghai Tower, the usable area of the Burj Khalifa is just 2 meters higher than that of the Shanghai Tower. The TÜV has stated that a building with 50% or less usable area containing more than one tower is referred to as a skyscraper. These same buildings nevertheless complete a practical thing, as it is well liked within the tourists, especially the Burj Khalifa. Although it is impressive that there are 4 megatall skyscrapers in the world, that number was not expected. In 2012, the CTBUH released a paper titled Tallest 20 in 2020, which predicted how many megatall skyscrapers there would be in 2020. They estimate that there should be 8 anyway, whereas in 2020 there were only 3. So why megatall skyscrapers of this type are becoming rare is that it takes the ingenuity to build them. When skyscrapers were first built, all you needed was a steel skeleton. Despite all this, constructing into a rectangular or square shape has its problems over time, because the higher they get, the more unstable they become. One of the problems is the wind, because the wind has a pronounced attack surface on the rectangular or square shape, and earthquakes nevertheless become major problems. Nevertheless, completely alternative structures have to be created for megatall skyscraper. In 2004 the Tau Palace III was built in South Korea. This building had a support system with a bundled column and 3 external wings. This hexagonal shape means that the weight of each wing is supported by the other 2. This same Y shape was also used in the Burj Khalifa. The Shanghai Tower consists of 9 cylindrical buildings stacked on top of each other and secured by an outer layer of glass. The Mecca Royal Clock Tower consists of 7 buildings, with the widest being at the bottom to provide support. All those systems have a template for more megatall skyscraper, so it kind of seems like we currently have the technology to construct the buildings. Nevertheless, why were far fewer such buildings built? To answer this we have to go to China. Although it has only one of the megatall buildings, China has the most common tallest buildings in the world. China has built more skyscrapers in the last 30 years than New York did in the 20th century. It was then generally accepted that China would construct the next tallest building. The planned Sky City houses should be 838 m in Changsha. This ended directly with it is difficult to keep track of China's tallest building announcement in the service. So what we do know is that the Sky City building will not be the tallest building. Construction stopped, delays were reported, and in 2015 the site became inoperative as a fish farm. In 2014 the construction of the Phoenix Towers in Wuhan was proposed. One of the towers should be over 1 kilometer high. Nevertheless, a mention after 2014 is hard to find. Nevertheless, the second tallest building was completed in 2015 in Shanghai. China seemed to be the safest choice when it comes to constructing the tallest building. The plans turned when it came to building big. In 2021, China banned new buildings from being erected higher than 500 m and imposed restrictions on heights over 250 m. The explanation for this states bizarre architecture that is not economical, functional, aesthetically appealing or environmentally friendly is prohibited. Nevertheless, why did this sudden change come about? There are quite a few conceivable reasons. China has become notorious for its unusual architecture, particularly imitation buildings featuring the Eiffel Tower or the White House. China currently wants to construct buildings that fit the environment. The demand for real estate is also falling according to Business Insiders. There are enough vacant homes in China to house the entire population of France. Nevertheless, the pressing matter is health and safety. In March 2021, a fire broke out in a residential building in Shuaizuang. In August, another fire broke out in a building in Dalian. In May, a 72-story building in Shenzhen suddenly began to shake and had to be evacuated. So if China is out of the game, who will continue the race? The biggest enemy of the Burj Khalifa is the Jeddah Tower in Saudi Arabia. When it is finished, it will be the introductory building about 1 kilometer. Dive functions at the building have been suspended since January 2018 when one of its main sponsors was arrested as part of a political purge. The only person who knows about the future of this building is the Saudi government itself. Malaysia has 2 buildings in the pipeline, Tower M and Trade Wind Square. Nonetheless, it was reported that the construction of Tower M had not even started and would only be finished in another decade. Should the demand arise, the planning should not take place before 2035. The construction site of the Trade Wind Tower is empty. Indonesia has also proposed a building in the capital Jakarta, but this was also cancelled in 2018. Other towers in Tokyo, no other developments were seen either. So will we see buildings in the United States? The down-to-earth answer is that she probably doesn't want to construct a human soul, also because buildings in New York are much more expensive than in Asia or the Middle East. Demand for offices has also decreased due to the pandemic, with more remote work being done at any given time. So it seems that the trend around the tallest buildings is coming to a standstill or equally coming to an end. Many plans around the buildings were boldly eliminated. So will we see the Burj Khalifa as the tallest building at any given time? Write it in the comments, and that's it for my video. We'll see you.